Morning.
Morning.
Happy Sunday. I am so blessed to be here. Thank you so much, Chuck, for being the orchestrator to make this happen. Collaborate, Gregory and Amy and the music. Just such beauty. You know, it's in the collaboration of the one, of the whole, of being truly helpful. And that's inspiring. And I was just thinking when I was sitting here, Unity of Brentwood has it going on. Has it going on? I was like, wow. Just when you walk in, everything's just so beautiful and clean and organized. I was like, you know, I tour around a lot and I speak in different places, so I can say that. You know, I've seen different kinds of, but you definitely can see the love and the dedication to this congregation. So congratulations, really, and it's really an honor to be here. I'm feeling a little bit like a happy guru rock star because I've been touring this weekend in this area. I was in Lafayette yesterday where I did a mini workshop, and some of the people from Lafayette are here, so thank you for coming. I'm happy I didn't scare you yesterday. You came back. And just grateful and such gratitude to talk about one of my favorite topics. When Chuck gave me the topic, he said the topic is authenticity. And I tend to always say authenticity is very sexy. And the reason I say that is because when somebody's being authentic, they're attractive. They're attractive. You're drawn to them because they're being real. They're being genuine. And I'm a course teacher, and I speak about the Course in Miracles often, and the Course says only love is real. If you think of authenticity as being real, that means that authenticity is really love, right? So I wanted to begin, I always like to open up with affirming all together our truth. And as we say these words together, I want you to really feel them in your heart. I want you to really feel them in every being of your body, every cell, every molecule. Really feel these words and not just say them. I really want you to know this to be true about you and about us in the whole. So all together, I am not weak but strong. I am not weak but strong. I am not helpless but all-powerful.
I am not helpless but all-powerful.
I am not limited but unlimited.
I am not limited but unlimited.
I am not doubtful but I'm certain.
I am not doubtful but I'm certain.
I am not an illusion but I am a reality.
I am not an illusion but I am a reality.
I cannot see in the darkness but in the light.
I cannot see in the darkness, but in the light.
Beautiful. I love how I started to get excited. You also guys started to get excited. This has a lot to do, I really loved Amy sharing because it's everything to do with my talk today. Especially one of the first traits that I feel how we can really live authenticity. This is about living authenticity. It's about living the truth, living your true self, which I like to call. So today when I say the word true self, what I mean, the true self with a capital S, that self that connects you to God, that is the true self, that is living authentically. Living knowing that your source is God. That's really living authenticity. So this is about really the expression of that in your life when you step out of these doors. That is my commitment here. Is that we all go out and live this stuff, right? So one of the traits that comes with living an authentic self, living your authentic self, which is living your true self, one of the traits is mindfulness. That's the first one. So kind of had a little psychic stuff going on there, right? Because she was talking about how you can't have the darkness and the light in a way. You can't have both. You can't have fear and love at the same time. And that's what the Course talks about. You need to be mindful and aware of how your mind works. That is essential. That is vital because what happens? The Course talks about a concept which we call the ego, which is the fear. The part of your mind that's fearful, that's unlimited. Then the Course talks about another concept in the mind, which is love, which is Holy Spirit. So you have ego and you have Holy Spirit, and you're choosing either or. So it's important to be mindful of the thoughts that you're having. Now what's great is that you can use whatever word resonates with you. I like to talk and say Holy Spirit is my inner friend, or my inner wisdom. And then the ego could be fear or doubt. But as you can see, we've just affirmed what is the truth, which is we're all powerful, we're unlimited, we're certain, we're strong. All of those are characteristics of our true self with a capital S. So to live your authentic self to its capacity, to a 10, being the best, you need to be mindful. What are you thinking? What thoughts are you having? About yourself? About others? Because what you're thinking is going to, what the Course says, give you your experience. So if you have anything that goes on in your life form, it could be some sort of, maybe you get a ticket, while you're driving, or maybe your bank account is not as full as you would like it to be, or possibly your spouse is not acting the way that you would like him to. The role that you assigned to him is not being completed. Right? There is an opportunity. You guys laugh because you know you do this. They're not playing the role you assigned to them. What you do is how you can experience them, how you can experience a situation through the lens of love or fear. Choose. It's up to you. You decide. You're the decision maker. That's beautiful because we have the responsibility of our experience. Whatever is going to happen out there is going to happen. It's going to happen. It's part of life. And nowadays it's a little bit of a circus, huh? Right? No circus out there going on, right? How are you going to experience it? How are you going to see it? Who are you being? Sounds to me that here the people of Unity of Brentwood are really, really willing. Big willingness is what I like to say. The Course says all you need is a little bit of willingness and miracles happen. I always say you need a lot of big willingness. Because it takes something. So I invite you to be mindful, if you want to live your authentic self, to be mindful of your mind. Be mindful of what you're thinking. Be a mind watcher. At any given moment, I always say the second within the second. It's a process. It's a practice. It's consistency. Whoa, I'm not feeling at peace right now. That's your gauge. That's the gauge I use. I'm not feeling at peace. Whoa, I'm having thoughts that are a separation. I'm having thoughts that are fearful, that are doubtful. Stop and let me choose truth again. Let me choose thoughts that are aligned to God, to my source, light, love, and peace. So just be mindful every day and practice this, and then you are living in your authentic self. Another trait of living your authentic self is self-love. And this is a big one because unconsciously the Course says that we feel unworthy of love. So we cultivate this self-love and you respect your true self. You begin to respect your true self every day. How do you respect your true self? You're gentle with yourself, with your mind. Because sometimes we're not going to have the thoughts that we want to have. We're not going to have those perfect thoughts because we appear to be in a body, we appear to be separate, so we're going to have these limited thoughts. But instead of beating yourself up about it, you be gentle with yourself. Because what happens is that when we're in this new thought, when we're coming to Unity, when we're going to these groups, when we're doing the work and doing workshops, and we want to do it right. And if we're not doing it right, then we beat ourselves up about it. We're like, I'm spiritual, and why am I having these thoughts of judgment of my brother and sister? Hey, you know what? It happens. Just love the process and be like, okay, this doesn't work for me, and choose again, but don't judge yourself about the judgment. Right? That's kind of weird. You're judging yourself about you are judging. So it's important to be mindful, okay, my thoughts are not aligned to source right now. Let me just choose again and be loving and gentle with yourself through the process. And that is for everything in your life. Gentleness. You know why? Because in truth, in real truth, you can never mess it up. You can never mess it up. Because if only love is real and all else is an illusion, you can never mess it up. You are a perfect child of God. In truth, you could never mess it up. Even the things that you think you probably didn't do the best, they're gifts. So you didn't really mess it up in truth. You just, guess what happened? You did the best you could with the awareness you had at that moment. Period. So embrace it. Say, hey, you know what? I gave it my all, and you know what? I might have had some thoughts that probably aren't in alignment, and that's okay. But understand that you can't mess it up. That's the thing. We feel so guilty. We're riddled with guilt. And guess what? When we're riddled with guilt and we want to people please, we are not living our authentic self. We're not. We need to be honest and genuine and real and expansive and show up in your power. Right? When I get up here, I am not nervous. I am in my space. I'm working for God right now. Right? So what I do is that if it's about me, Maria, the separated self, Maria needs to look good, needs to talk well, can't have an accent, all that stuff, I will be nervous because I'm trying to people please you. I'm trying to be perfect for you. But that's not what this is about. This is about showing up and serving God. It's not about me. This is not about me, Maria, the separated self with a little s. This is about Maria, her true self, expanding love. And that's what truly matters. Yeah. So that I let go of if I look good, if I don't look good, if I say it right, if I don't say it right. I'm just being. And then guess what? You guys get to experience it as well. Because we're one and whole. I'm just showing up here right now as a teacher of God, but we're all teachers of God. We all have our ministries every morning when we get up, when we are collaborating with our spouse when we get up in the morning to make coffee, or when you go to work. You are walking ministry. You are walking ministry. Do your part and live your authenticity. By being mindful, what thoughts are you having? Self-love. Who are you being with yourself? What thoughts are you having about yourself? And what thoughts are you having about others? Because as it's talked about here, unity thoughts are powerful. They're going to give you your experience. So you might as well make it a happy one. If you're going to be here, or for how long you're going to be here, enjoy it. Have fun. Be happy. Enjoy yourself. Why? Because your function of the course is happiness. And you're not happy just for yourself. You're happy for everyone. You're happy for everyone. Because as you raise consciousness, if we're only one mind and we're really all connected, I'm happy for Amy, I'm happy for Lex, I'm happy for Greg, I'm happy for Chuck, I'm happy for all of you as I wake up in the morning. But if I choose my sadness, if I choose my depression, which is okay, I can have it for a hot second. I'll give it to myself for a hot second, that's fine. Let me just have my little tantrum for a hot second. That's one thing, we need to feel our feelings. That's also being gentle. You need to feel your feelings, which I'm going to get into in a second. But just allow yourself to just be fully self-expressed and let go of people-pleasing. We think that to please people is being loving, and it's not. We're not being honest. We're not being honest. You do something because it really comes from your heart and you're called to do it. But you don't do it because of what the person's going to think about you or because you feel that you owe them something. I want to just share a really quick story that I had a gathering at my home of movie watcher. We watch movies and we use movies to awaken, and we had somebody that facilitated that. And I invited my best friend to come watch. And at the last minute, she canceled. And then I told her that I wish she would have told me ahead of time because now that spot didn't get filled. Just being honest. And she said, you're being passive aggressive on the text message. And I was like, okay. The next day we talked on the phone, and she says the thing is that I told you I was going because I wanted to be there for you, like I was going for you. And I was like, well, I rather of you of just said you didn't want to come, because that's people pleasing. It's like I want to be there because I wanted to be there for you, and that's why I canceled because I really didn't want to be there. I said, wow, okay, well, I don't want you to be where you don't want to be. That's not being loving. I'm going to be so happy if you would have said, listen, Maria, I can't make it, because then you're going to be where you want to be. And I'm happy about that. So we have to see how we're being in life. And that was such a beautiful revelation that us as friends had, because she felt like, wow, okay, I didn't do anything wrong. It's just, I didn't honor myself. There was no self-love. She wasn't even thinking about herself. She wasn't being self-loving. She was trying to please me, and at the end she was feeling guilty, and then she canceled, and then I'm the passive-aggressive one, right? So it's interesting how cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs we are, right? In a lot of ways. So mindfulness, self-love. I like to go over these things because I like the practicality, and I want to practice this stuff. Because in the practice and the consistency is where the power is. It's where you're going to experience your true happiness and your true authentic self. Courage is another trait. So we have mindfulness, self-love, and courage. And I read this online, which it said, when we stretch ourselves past our limits, even to the point of discomfort, that is when we grow. So to be on this spiritual path, to be on this path of living your authentic self, it takes something. It takes a lot of courage. It takes getting out of your own way. It takes letting go of those doubtful thoughts, of those fearful thoughts. It takes courage to look at those. It takes courage to forgive. Possibly your mother and father said something to you when you were little that you're probably not good enough. You need to let that go and understand that you are good enough. Maybe the doctor told you something that probably some cells in your body aren't working, and then you go ahead and you say with courage, in your mind, because he's probably going to think you're crazy if you say this, you say, I have perfect health. My cells, I have other cells in my body that are perfectly well. And in God, I am healthy. So you need to have the courage to remind yourself of your true self. To remind yourself of your true self, and that is what is your truth in God, as God, your source. It's unlimited, it's plentiful, it's expansive. You don't have health issues in that space. So the more that you are in that, the more you are going to know that the experiences that you're in this world, right? But you're going to have more of a gentle smile as you walk through the world, because you're going to know that you're not of it. It's not going to be such a big deal, your problems. You're letting go of form a little bit more, and then you experience freedom. Because then what your spouse said to you is not such a big deal, and then the ticket that you got is such a big deal, and your problems at work are not such a big deal, because you understand that that's not your source. Your source is God. You can't have both. We need to start living with this consistency of I am love and I am love. I am abundance, I am abundance. But if you say I am abundance and I'm going to worry that I can't, pay my bills, I am love, but I'm going to look for love outside of myself in a relationship because I need somebody else to complete me outside. Not in sync. How about I am love and I am love? How about I am abundance and I am abundance? How about I am peace and I am peace? That is what matters. Living in truth and authenticity, knowing that your source is God. You can't have both. You got to choose. And that's the beautiful thing, that God has given us the opportunity to choose. Look how loving. You get to choose. That's such a loving Father. Instead of like, it's my way, believe just in me, it's saying, listen, I hold you here in high regard. I'm just reminding you every day of who you are. I'm here saying, hey, I know who you are in truth. I'm not even making this crazy world real for you. The circus, right? I am holding you in high regard. And remember me. But he's not saying you remember me you have to remember me. No, it's giving us whatever we want to choose. What a loving Father. Because it knows that ultimately we will always make the right choice. We will always choose God. Always. Trust. So we have mindfulness, self-love, and courage, and trust. So I conclude with trust, and trust is not the kind of trust that we have learned of the world, right? So the trust is, I trust you because you have been good, you've been honest, or I trust you because such and such, right? So that trust that we've learned associated to the past, that you trust that person because of how they've been in the past. The trust I'm talking about is something that has really changed my life, which is trust in my inner wisdom and my inner friend. I live an authentic self when I'm trusting in the voice for love. I'm living my authentic self when I am trusting that as I give things over, letting go came up today in the service. Let go. You had said that the book was about really letting go, and I saw that. Not just the book letting go, but of letting go completely of all attachments. And you give them over to Holy Spirit and trust your friend. And it's not like a little bit. It's a lot. You trust your inner friend a lot. That when you give something over, it could be whatever it is, And I usually do this. I say, Holy Spirit, I give you my thoughts of lack. I give you my thoughts of sadness. I give you my thoughts of anger towards the situation. I give you my thoughts of my mom. As of right now, it's going on, my mom and her health. I give you my thoughts. I give you over these worries. And I ask you to help me see it another way. I ask you to show me the way. And then I let go. It's not like I say that, I'm like, but. No, it's I really let go and I trust. And guess what happens? I'm filled with wonder because I don't know what's happening. There's no expectations. I'm filled with wonder because it's not what Maria, the separated self, wants. It's what I want for the whole. So I'm guided. Everything starts to get orchestrated. Everything starts to go in ease and grace. I always say, easy is normal. We're so used to that, it's the opposite. It's hard. Everything has to be hard. You have to fight for something. It's hard. Right? You have to grab the bull by the horns. Wow, that's suicide. Yes or no? So it's important to understand that there's an ease and grace in that trust, and I have lived my life like this. And everything unravels. The right and perfect person comes to your life, the angel. Chuck gets the email, hears about my work. Lex appears, Lex sends an email to Chuck, Chuck says yes, and here we are. And it's easy. There's no forcing, there's no manipulating, there's no trying to make it happen. Right? There's just an allowing. The most beautiful thing is that the things outside don't define you anymore, so that they don't really matter as much. Because what defines you is God. I always work like this. I don't feel that what I'm doing right now defines me. I don't feel that even my book that's coming out, you would think it's such a big deal in the world, wow, you have a book coming out. Yeah, I'm grateful, but it doesn't define me. God does. And there I'm free. So, as we step into this trait of trust, I just invite you to every day to give things over to Spirit in the morning. So when you wake up in the morning, it's you give over the day to Spirit. You say, Spirit, guide me. What to say, what to do, how to be, where to go, where to show up. And then you give over your day. And then during the day, maybe you might forget. Then you might do your same old thing that you do. And then you choose again. You say, Holy Spirit, let me choose again. Let me choose you again. And then you might forget again. It's just part of it, guys. That's why I say practice and consistency. Why? Because the Course says our mind is too okay with mind wandering. It's undisciplined. That's why I love centers like this, because every Sunday we're reminded of the truth. And then whatever comes during the week, it's important to go to these things. But listen, it's important to go out there and practice it. Not come here and feel good for a hot second. Ooh, this is nice, and the meditation, Amy and Greg, this is beautiful, Maria, wow, I'm on fire. You walk out of it, and the next day you feel like crap. Consistency. You know what? When I started to really practice this stuff, before I used to cry one day, and then the other day I was happy, and then I cried for 2 days, and then I was happy. It was like, hello? It's like a roller coaster ride, right? But as I started to bring myself into ministry, and as I became a minister and really practice this, I have a consistent happiness every day. And I'm not saying that one day or some days I do feel sadness, and I feel it. I allow myself to feel that sadness. That's part of having self-love and being authentic. You know, spirituality, people, is not brushing things under the rug. It's not. Spirituality is being honest and being authentic and being real and expressing your needs. And then you're sexy to people. You're attractive to people because you're being real, you're being genuine. They get to get you. Guess what? When you're being authentic and you're not scared of being, that person gets to experience you. But if I'm hanging out with you and you're closed off and you have barriers, guess what? I can't experience you. Guess who loses out? Both of us. I want to be able to experience you, Chuck. I need you to allow yourself to open up, which he does. Last night he was very funny at home, yes. You are, Chuck. You're just a beautiful person. I mean, you really open up. I could feel your authenticity. I feel connected to you. But that's our job. So I'm going to go over it real quick. So mindfulness, self-love. Are we good with time? Okay. Mindfulness, self-love, courage, and trust. All right. Today in the workshop, I'll be going over a lot over self-love in the workshop, just because I feel that a lot of us feel unworthy of love, along with a very powerful meditation that I do in regards to self-love. So we'll be doing that in the workshop later. I want to get more into these things at a deeper level because we'll have more time. And at this time, I just want to close in prayer. I like to always close my part in prayer. So let's close our eyes here. Let's just take a deep breath. We're so grateful for this opportunity to join this morning, for the opportunity to understand how to live our authentic self, our true self, our self that's in God, as God, whole, holy, whole, just complete. At this time, we give over on the altar and we let go everything that no longer serves, any barrier that hinders us being authentic, any fear. We give it over on the altar as a gift to God. We just give it all over now without compromise, as we have big willingness. Just give it all over now as we claim the truth in spirit, as we feel our inner friend, Holy Spirit, hugging us now, comforting us. As we claim the truth, I am not weak but strong. I am not helpless but all powerful. I am not limited but unlimited. I'm not doubtful but certain. I am not an illusion but a reality. I cannot see in darkness but in light. So at this time, since I know this to be true, I choose the light. I choose the source. I choose my right mind. I choose love. I choose what is unlimited now in God, as God, and I'm grateful. I am so grateful because I get to experience my function in God, which is true happiness and authenticity. Altogether, may God's will be done.
May God's will be done.
Amen. You may open your eyes. Thank you, everyone.